I guess I'll talk about this just because I got asked. And again, I don't know what else to do really most of the time to keep the channel active video game wise. But I got asked, what do I think about the Capcom vs SNK2? Excuse me, sorry, I just ate dinner. EO or something. So I guess there's that Capcom Fighting Collection, and the ranked battle is actually going to be this EO version. Oh, and I forgot my. What do I usually say? Remember, if you like the videos, like, sub, silly comment. Share, support the channel if you can. I appreciate it. Thanks. Super chat, PayPal, Patreon, super like the video, whatever. What do I think about it? I mean, I would agree. I see some people being mad that the ranked version for this is the EO version, but to play devil's advocate a little bit, I would say that I think there's probably a good chance that if you still care about CVS2, that you want to be playing it online in the first place. I would assume that a lot of these people are already playing it on Fightcade or something. Am I mistaken in that assumption? And am I mistaken in the assumption that Fightcade there's ranked, isn't there? Or is there no longer ranked or something? So if I'm to go off of this devil's advocate argument that most people playing CVS2 are, or who care about CVS2 can already play it on Fightcade, I would say, again, devil's advocate argument, but what is the harm of the Capcom Fighting Jam Collection, whatever this is called, of the ranked thing being the EO thing? It actually gives a opportunity to actually see what the tiers might be in this sort of revision of the game. I don't agree with, the fact that you can play the bosses apparently online. And again, if I'm saying something that is untrue, let me know, because again, I'm not well versed on the topic. I just got asked and I'm like, hey, I guess what else do I do to keep the channel active? So if I'm wrong in what I'm saying, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to put out false info. So, I mean, I don't agree with you probably shouldn't be able to play the bosses. But, the EO does have some different things. I think some characters take a little bit less life. Some characters have a little bit more life, right? It's minuscule, but there. Of course, there's no roll canceling, which I've said before. Roll canceling is terrible. It makes so many things in the game not work properly. It's always shocks me that people actually defend roll canceling. I've made many videos talking about just showing why roll canceling invalidates many things. Many moves are not supposed to be able to be invincible if you actually know how the game works, and it throws a clusterfuck into the game. And I think S groove maybe charges a little bit faster, and P groove can do a special move to a super move. So I would say if you're trying to be a glass is half full kind of thing, I would say that you dudes that still play CVS2, you can always probably play it on Fightcade anyway. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. And this gives the opportunity to now play the EO version, maybe on a bit of a broader spectrum, and get a sort of, maybe be able to theorize more what the tiers would have been like in a game like this. Ultimately, though, I've said this many times before, and I know this will make people mad, but I am not of the opinion that CVS2 is a great game in the first place. I think a lot of times when people talk about the game, I think it's a lot of nostalgia talking, which nostalgia, I mean, people can play whatever they want to play. There's no perfect game, but I think a lot of the love for CVS2 is just, nostalgia that you're like, damn, Street Fighter was about to die. Street Fighter, quotation marks, was about to die for a while because it wasn't until maybe so many years later that Capcom Fighting Jam or something came out. I mean, CVS2 is kind of like the last hurrah, so to speak, for a while. So I think that plays into some people's memories and clouds their judgment. I think gives them a little bit of rose colored glasses, tinted glasses, if you will. I've also said before, I think it's not the best argument when one of the best arguments for CVS2 for the reason that it is better than CVS1 is that there's just more stuff in it. Which, again, more is better, quotation marks. It's nice to have more stuff, but I've said this many times before. You would be hard pressed to have an intelligent conversation with me and try to convince me that CVS2 is a much better game than CVS1. And, well, again, correct me if I'm wrong, though. To my knowledge, I think the CVS1 for the Capcom Fighting Collection, isn't that Capcom Fighting, or I can't remember all these names, dude. Isn't the Capcom vs. SNK 1 Pro, the Pro version 2, which is, I mean, God, I don't even know why you would play the Pro version. It took away all the little obscurities. I say obscurities, that's probably not the right word, but the little quirks of CVS1 about the CVS1 had a little bit more of a quirky juggle system. And it also had SNK Groove was actually very good in it, right? It's not like Capcom vs. SNK 2 where, you know, there's a few grooves that are quite a bit better than the rest, right? Whereas Capcom vs. SNK 1, both grooves are effective at high level, right? But again, you would be hard pressed to argue me, at least if we're talking about based version of CVS2, from a gameplay philosophy, that base CVS2 being better than CVS1, I think you would have a hard time trying to have an intelligent conversation and argue that versus me, I think, other than the fact that, again, the strongest case for it is that there's more stuff in it. Because CVS1 is, I've said this many times before, when people complain about CVS1 and they say about the broken things, what are the broken things they might say to you? They might say, oh, level 1 characters are too good. Well, there's a lot of level 1 characters for you to pick and choose from. Oh, well, Ryu's Ryuken is too good because it basically can kill you in one hit if you're a level 1 guy. Yeah, but, you know, Ryu's not the best character in the game. Who is the best character in the game? A lot of people say Nakaruru is. Some people say Guile is. Oh, wait, you know, I mean, okay, so wait, I thought you were just saying that all the level 1 characters are broken. Wait, Ryu's broken. Oh, wait, no, Guile's broken, actually. Nakaruru's broken. Oh, wait, Balrog and SNK Groove is broken. Oh, wait, Iori and the 8 Wine Glass Super is broken. And I think if you start to think about CVS1, you start to think that, whoa, there's a lot of things that are effective in this game at a high level. And that's not me saying that Capcom vs. SNK 2 is the worst game ever, but I think you can make an argument that CVS1 is a better balanced game than CVS2. CVS1, even though there is less stuff, somehow the characters are more kind of quirky almost. Kind of strange, right? CVS2, even without roll canceling, has a lot of brain farts in it, right? I've showed videos before of CVS2 is almost kind of a game compared to CVS1, and you can watch the videos. It's almost kind of a game where it was made kind of quickly after CVS1. But CVS2, it's almost like they made the game and then they had they told the guy who was ever programming it or trying to polish it up, they're like, hey, we don't have time to actually beta test this game very long. So because we're only going to do one beta test or whatever, I think, isn't that true? They only did like one beta test for like a month or something like that. And then they released it. They did two, because they did one at a game show, if you count that a beta test. So they did 2 beta tests, right? If you count showing off the game, where there was one version of the game where Ryu had the blue laser beam on his Shinshuriken, right? But I don't even know if that was in the final beta of the game, but you can correct me if I'm wrong. But CVS2 is a game where it feels like they had whoever was polishing the game up before they released it to the public. Capcom went to this guy and they're like, hey, we're not going to beta test this game fully, so go to every character and make them about 30% weaker, 20% weaker, whatever. Make this move worse. But it's up to your discretion what gets to be worse. And that's why you have a lot of moves in CVS2 compared to CVS1, and they just don't seem to work properly. Hop kick misses. Hop kick is like punishable from some shit. It's just like, why is that? My hop kick is supposed to go over lows, but some characters, it doesn't even hit them if they do the low. And then sometimes the character can actually still punish me. And it's not even, and it's strangely, excuse me, and you can watch all the videos. I show a little bit more in depth in it, right? Ryu's hop kick actually can go over fireballs in CVS1. Yet Ryu's hop kick somehow goes higher in CVS2, yet doesn't go over the fireballs. What? There's many weird things. Why is Ryu's super hurricane kick, the bigger level you do, the move starts to have less frame advantage and you can punish him then after he does it? There's very weird things. Oh, you can't punish the level 1 super hurricane kick, but the level 3 super hurricane kick, which is a level 3, and you would think would be for chipping out, you can punish him? Oh yeah, Kim does a Hangitsan in this game now. He can go over fireballs now, but guess what? You can punish him after he does it? CVS2 has a lot of weird, not really thought out shit, and it's almost like I said before they released the game, because they didn't really beta test it, and they were worried that we're not going to update the game. They're like, hey, Billy Bob, Jimmy, whatever. It's like, hey, can you make every character just a little, like, 30%, 20% less, but pick the moves that you think maybe should be a little bit worse compared to CVS1. And there's just some characters, they just feel, why is this character so bad here? Why does this move work like this? Whereas CVS1, it's like, CVS1 doesn't really feel like that. CVS1 maybe feels limited in terms of the buttons, and maybe limited in terms of because they tried to, they had the EX characters, so EX characters, and then, everyone didn't have their own toolkit. But the moves tended to work more how you would think, right? There's more interesting game design choices, right? More quirkiness to it. Whereas CVS2, there's just shit in CVS2 that just is like, they're like, what were they thinking with this? This doesn't make sense. And then, of course, you get into things like roll canceling and all this kind of stuff. Right? But again, I have deeper videos about that you can feel free to watch. Support the channel if you want. But again, what else do I think about the Capcom vs. SNK 2 EO is what is the ranked battle and whatever this collection thing is. I would say, I guess it sucks if you love CVS2, but I would say that the devil's advocate is you motherfuckers were already probably playing on Fightcade, so may as well just be like, do you want to fiddle with this one online? And like, oh, hey, we can, think of that. My squeakiness of my chair. It wasn't a fart, I swear. It's the chair. You're like, I don't believe you, Clayton, you're a fraud. Anyway, I don't know. Remember, if you like the videos, like, sub, silly, comment, share, support the channel if you can. I appreciate it. Thanks. The end.